So next up is Tom. Now you've brought Grey Knights, which is awesome.
Yes.
You haven't had those on the stream before, but this is the type of list you would bring. So why don't you go ahead and take us through this list?
Well, as a start, I have 2 battalions with a total of 5 characters. I always love characters, and especially the named ones. So you will see 3 of the named characters that Grey Knights have in my army. As a start, I want to start with my librarian. He's my warlord with the Sanctic Shard, which gives him a +1 to his casting rolls.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Grey Knights already have a +1 to their casting rolls as a base. So he starts out with +2, and there is even a stratagem that can give him a +3. And with the Sanctic Shard, he also gets to reroll failed casting attempts. With his powers being 6-up and 7-up to cast, that would become a 3-up and a 4-up with rerolls. So that might be very useful if I really need those powers. He also has a warlord trait, which makes units within 6 inches of him reroll failed charges. So basically, whatever I want to get stuck in combat, if it's close to him, the chances are quite likely that they will get stuck in combat.
Okay.
My other unnamed character is on my right flank. It's my chaplain. Like every good army needs someone to motivate them, and he does that really, really well. So that's basically why he is in the army. In addition to the normal psychic powers, where he can get a command point back from my army, he has a litany that makes my units shoot further than they are usually allowed to. And as I said, I have 3 named characters. Voldus,
he's the trifecta.
Basically the Grandmaster Librarian. He is just really good at casting, and he has a Thunder Hammer with flat 3 damage. And he does not suffer the -1 to hit penalty. And he also gives some sweet and juicy rerolls to my Grey Knight units nearby. There is the Captain Stern. He is just a cool character, really flavorful, and in addition to the aura that normal captains have that makes my smite double range.
Okay.
He also gets to reroll 1 to hit, to wound, or save roll for himself. But if I do that, the fates can be against me, because that means that Peter, in his next turn, can also use 1 reroll to hit, to wound, or save.
Okay. So you can do this as many times as you want?
Once per turn.
Once per turn?
Yes.
But you'll basically also be giving a reroll to Pete.
Yeah.
That's a funny
So
interaction.
it can be tricky, but in the right circumstances, it can be really worth it.
Yeah.
And the final named character is Lord Caldor Drygo. Everyone who knows Grey Knights knows Drygo. He's the only guy in the whole army who can take a Storm Shield, because the rest have been looted by the Death Watch. He has the Titan Sword, which is just really, really killy. And yeah, basically he's the hammer.
He's the Hammer of Titan.
Yeah.
Quite literally.
Yo.
He doesn't have a hammer though, but he has a hammer of Titan.
Exactly. Okay.
Then I have 6 troop choices, which are 3 strike squads and 3 Terminator squads. They have a bit mixed loadouts due to the models I had available. I have made them recognizable by units as much as possible. There is 1 unit of strike squads with just halberds, just for the close combat punch, and they are recognizable with the white helmets and white shoulder pads. There is 1 strike squad with 3 swords and 2 halberds. They are also on the left flank from there to cast Gate of Infinity to move my forces around the board much more freely than you would guess of normal power and Terminator armored units. The third strike squad with a silencer, it's in reserves. Basically, they can teleport on the board through deep strike, but with one stratagem, if I would want, I could deploy them 3 inches from my opponent instead of the normal 9.
Okay, danger close.
Yeah. Then for the Terminator squads, they also have a little bit mixed loadouts. Most of them just have storm bolters, and there is, I think, one silencer somewhere in there.
Yeah. You've got the stave.
And an incinerator there. There's some force staves, some halberds, some demon hammers just for extra smashiness.
Yeah.
Both of them are two are deployed on my both of my flanks, and the third one is in reserve also for that juicy 3-inch charge, hopefully. And that squad has 2 thunder hammers, so Nemesis demon hammers. So if they can find a nice target, for example, the Silent King,
you can touch it, push it.
Is the Silent King, this is a bit off topic from your list, but is the Silent King a demon?
No.
No?
Come on, man.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Okay. All right, moving on.
And then, last but definitely not least, I have 7 paladins. They are the elite of the elite. They are 3-wound Terminators, which in most Space Marine armies is just a normal Terminator. But for Grey Knights, this is a bit special because we still have the old rules.
It will get better. It will change.
It will get better, and that's why I want to keep them active and to have their muscles trained. And
exactly.
When the codex drops, that they are not out of shape, as most of us are with COVID.
Okay. Yeah. All right, so that's your entire list.
Yeah.
Excellent, man. So let's go into your stratagems. I'll grab those on the screen. So the first one is that you've selected Empiric Surge.
Yes, I already said there is a stratagem to give me +1 to casting. This one, I can select a unit. I think a character, but I'm not sure from the top of my head anymore. And everything within 6 inches of that unit gets +1 to cast. And with an army that relies heavily on a lot of psychic powers, such an aura can really make a difference.
The stratagem, by the way, says it can be any Grey Knight Psyker unit.
Okay, so it's even better.
Doesn't have to be necessarily be a character. Yeah.
Good.
Right, the second one is well, it's a fan favorite among Grey Knights probably, and hated by the rest. Was it? No. All right, it's Cybolt ammunition.
Yeah, it's it used to be long ago an upgrade that you could buy for your units.
Yeah, I remember that.
Approximately. Nowadays, it improves the strength and the AP values of bolt weapons. So that is your bolters, heavy bolters, hurricane bolters, of which I only have the storm bolters. But it also makes them psi weapons, and that can give them more interactions with the tides that they got in Psychic Awakening.
Excellent, excellent. And your last favorite stratagem pick is a Redoubtable Defense.
Yeah. It's quite simple. It reduces the incoming damage by 1. So for the menhirs that provide flat 6 damage.
There you go.
It doesn't do much to my normal troops,
reduce that by 1, baby.
But if they are able to target one of my characters, it really can save a life there.
Yeah.
I think in general, just giving a unit -1 damage is very powerful.
Yeah, I think most weapons in Peter's army are damage 1, though.
He's got the Reapers, aren't those 2 damage?
No, they're assault 2, but the Silent King has a lot of damage 2 and 3 weapons.
Nice.
Yeah,
but
so,
in general, it's a very powerful strategy.
Yeah.
It's a very powerful strategy indeed.
Okay, so that's your 3. Also, noteworthy is it can either cost 1 CP or 2. I do believe it's 1 CP for any a unit of 5 or less.
Yeah.
And once the unit is bigger than 5, it starts to cost you 2 CP.
Yeah, so
So I did note though that your Paladin squad, for example, is 6 men strong.
7 actually.
Is it 7 men strong? Okay. Oh, I thought it was 6. So
600 this year.
yeah.
Yes.
So those would be, for example, 2 CP.
Yeah.
And all your
All my other units would be 1 CP.
yeah. All right. That can potentially be very devastating. So that's your 3 favorite stratagems.
Yes.
What would your general strategy be with this army?
What I usually try to do is to start targeting valuable targets in my opponent's army, preferably from out of sight with 30-inch range from the chaplain and astral aim, so that I can see them and, well, I can shoot at them without them being able to see me and to shoot back. In general,
Oh, sorry.
careful there.
Yeah, no, stuff happens.
In general, the
Advancing.
Grey Knights are just quite tough to shift with a combination of psychic powers, stratagems, and of course a lot of Terminator armor. So basically it's just they go to places and try to smash whatever comes there, and before they get there they start to shoot to thin them down.
Yeah, they're an extremely damaging army. Of course, they're very small.
Yeah.
And very mobile.
Yeah,
but they are.
It's very elite, which
But they
you
aren't
would
glass
expect.
cannons. I'd
No,
say.
definitely.
They do pack quite some resilience.